What's good, folks? It's Rat Trap here, back on Twitch with another video. Welcome back. I just unlocked that Dread Augment, Unseen Dread, and I wanted to go live and stream it and see how good it was. It seems pretty awesome. You can currently get it in the Night Wave that's going on right now. So right here,
Nora's
it's number
got the goods
25.
for one lucky dreamer. Who's it gonna be?
And yeah, become invisible for 5 seconds when you strike 3 or more enemies with a single projectile. Deal 175% more critical damage with Dread while invisible. So the cool thing about this is that you don't need to use you can use any frame like Ash, Ivara, frames that go invisible automatically because it's an ability. You can use that and you still get the 175% critical damage, which is really nice. So you don't need the invisibility from the arrows to get the crit damage, which we're gonna go to the Simulacrum and test this bad boy out.
The multitude of creatures you have immortalized.
And there's so many ways to build this thing. The Dread is really good. Dread's really good. It's an Incarnon weapon. You can get it in the circuit, Steel Path circuit. It's on the same cycle. The Dread, the Hate, and the Despair are on the same weekly cycle of the Steel Path circuit. And I think it just went by, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was last week's. I can't remember. I know I didn't. I know I saw it not too long ago. So let's just go to the Sanctum. Alright, so I'm using Worm. I was using Nautilus, but Nautilus pulls the enemies in here because I have Radial Suck on them, the Cordon mod. So I'm using Worm Prime for the Reinforced Bond mod on here, just to get a little more fire rate. So right here, since he's got super high shields with calculated redirection, I'm getting that 60% fire rate. So that's where I'm getting my fire rate from on this build. And you'll see like how quick the draw time is compared to not using Reinforced Bond. But we can fix it with the Dread. So you charge it up by getting headshots, obviously, and it does scale. The charging does scale off multi-shot, so if you have multiple projectiles hitting somebody in the head at once, it will charge up very quick. The first ability puts it in Incarnon mode. Incarnon mode does have heat damage. Sacrifice silence for increased projectile size and heat, so I do run Hush on the Exilus mod slot. And then on the first ability, I went with the evolution of Hitman's Opportunity. Increase base damage by 100% damage to enemies below half health. The other option is you have to be running all 3 of his weapons, the Stalker's weapons. So you gotta have the Dread, the Despair, and the Hate equipped, which some people like doing that. I don't usually carry all his weapons. I'll use the Hate with Banshee or in some other builds, Gauss, and then I'll use Dread with the Ivara, and I usually mix it up in between the frames and weapons. I don't really ever have all 3 equipped at one, but when I came back to the Dread today, it was selected. I had this one selected instead, so maybe I did use it in the past. I don't know. But so I go with the first evolution, first choice in evolution 2 if you're not going to run all 3 at once. And then evolution 3, I went with projectile speed. They got minus 30 zoom, increased base ammo capacity to 144. Sometimes if you do have a Riven, you'll have like plus 100% zoom or something ridiculous, so you can kind of negate that by using this option if you want that. Sometimes you want less zoom, so you can acquire and target enemies a lot quicker than being zoomed in on them so much, because that never hurts with arrows, because arrows are projectile, not hit scan. So sometimes you got to lead in front of your target or shoot in front of them, shoot behind them, depending on which direction they're going. So projectile speed's always a win with bow and arrows. Evolution 4, I'm currently using this one. I had it selected on this, zeroed in. Increase base critical damage multiplier by +1. That's great, but now that we're using the augment for 175% critical damage, I went and switched to more status on my build. These are all good choices. The first one, Survivor's Edge, increases your base crit chance by 10. We'll try them all. Increase base status chance by 10. That's the safe bet right there. And then if you got a Riven that has a lot of crit chance, like that's what I have, it's crit chance and damage. So I switched to more status chance, so I can proc the slash and the heat more. And the slash and impact in Incarnon is neck and neck. So unless you have a Riven that has more slash or minus impact, you're going to see both impact procs and slash procs without using 100 munitions. And this is not a 100 munition build, so I don't think 100 munition is really necessary on the Dread since it has such high slash in the first place. So I went with elemental balance. Yeah, if we scroll down here and look at the Incarnon form, just remember it's silenced in the normal form, but it's alarming in the Incarnon form. So that means like if you're Ivara and you're invisible and you're using this Dread, you're going to want to put Hush on it, so you don't break your silence if you're shooting this in Incarnon form. But the new Augment does make you invisible when you're hitting multiple enemies, and I tested it out earlier with Ivara. Your invisibility doesn't break while you're shooting it. As long as you're hitting enemies, it'll keep you invisible, and it won't like break your invisibility. But I'll show you what I mean by that. So yeah, the slash and impact 435.4, 435.4. So they're neck and neck, so you're gonna see a lot of both. And the build I got with the Unseen Dread is this one right here. So we're gonna use longbow sharp shot. On headshot, gain 300% damage on your next shot. You get this. This is one of those legendary arcanes from Akrathis and Deviri. So you go to the Dorma Zone, see Akrathis. Every day it resets at 7 p.m. Central my time, where I'm at. So you can see her every day, and her arcanes are on rotation. You can also get these by doing the Thrax portals in Deviri through the experience, and you can get them by doing the circuit as well. So when you make your selection of weapons or Rivens, Kuva, whatever, they'll pop up like throughout the stages of your Deviri circuit journey. But it's a really, really powerful arcane. It's really good. I highly suggest using longbow sharp shot if you're going to use galvanized chamber. If you're going to use something like split flights, which we'll test, you will want to... You can proc it longbow sharp shot, but you just have to wait till the multi-shot dies down, because that multi-shot goes everywhere. So you might be better off using primary merciless instead of longbow sharp shot with split flights. But what we got here is, so the Riven says 223.4 crit chance plus 270 damage, and then it's got negative corpus faction damage. And so we're running both galvanized mods, chamber and aptitude. We got crit delay for more crit chance. We got vital sense for more crit damage, and then we got a faction multiplier here. Unseen Dread and the new Augment. And then we got Rifle Elementalist for status damage and extra punch through. And then, so this is kind of a flex slot right here. If you're not using a Sentinel or a Companion that has Reinforced Bond to get you that extra fire rate, you can use Prime Shred, because it's going to give you that punch through as well, which is going to help you stay invisible with this Augment. But this is what I was using in the beginning, and then I moved to this the faction damage just to see how much more damage I could do. But we can test this out just how it is with Prime Shred first. So we'll spawn some enemies. 225 heavy corrupted goons. Take a couple of pock shots at them. Alright. So I'm going to kind of shoot sideways so I'm not hitting multiple enemies at once, so you can kind of see what's going on here. So I'm not going to pop my invisibility on Ash. I'm going to let the Augment do it on its own. And you'll see, like, on the buff bar up on the top right, you'll see Longbow Sharp Shot proc. I think you see the invisibility. I know you'll see the 175 crit damage buff on there when you're invisible. So let's hit him. There's Longbow Sharp Shot times 4 damage multiplier. Get our galvanized up more. And so it's about to make us invisible here in just a second. And there we go. So now you see up at the top bar 175%. So we pause that real quick and look at it. It says Unseen Dread. Dread's critical damage increase during invisibility. And then this is all Longbow Sharp Shot right here. These are the galvanized mods stacks. So, and if I go invisible with Ash's ability, there it is right there. So it procs with Warframe abilities that make you invisible, which is super awesome. So you don't have to depend on the Augment to stay invisible. So now you get that crit damage. Now it's the Augment making me invisible. Yes, sir. So that's how that works. And I tried it with Ivara. I used Ash. It both works well with them. But that punch through with Prime Shred, if you're not going to use faction damage on there, or if you're getting it off your Riven or something, it's a good option. It's going to give you fire rate, and it's going to give you that plus punch through on here. There's already enough punch through, I believe, on the Dread. I think you have like +1 punch through on it. But let's try this thing in its Incarnon form again. I'm going to shoot diagonally. I don't want to hit multiple targets at once, so we can kind of see damage and what's going on. So let's Incarnon it. Making me invisible. We got the 175% critical damage buff. Now what I like to do is I like to run Nourish with this. And then I'll stack it with Nourish and get my viral off of that. So now we'll try with the Nourish. So now you'll see at that 4th ability, or that 4th evolution on the Dread, this is where that status comes in handy. So you get a lot of statuses and red crits at the same time. I think it looks really good. Has a really positive effect on the enemies, as you can see. Now we're in that exclamation mark super crits. But we got viral damage. We got slash. And the good thing about the Dread is some other Incarnons, they're not powerful enough in their normal form. Kind of like how the Sestra is. It's not super powerful in its normal form, but this Dread smacks in both ways. It smacks in its normal and it smacks an Incarnon. But when you have that prime shred, that extra punch through, it makes it so easy to hit multiple targets. You could just knock out squads of enemies, no problem. So we're gonna Incarnon it real quick. Put Nourish on that. So I think like the highest damage I saw earlier was 1.3 mil on one hit. Then we could slap on that faction damage, but I think right now I do have Hush on it. I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna switch to Ivara and kind of show you what I was talking about with her in case you depend. These were the two frames I was messing with earlier with the Dread. They were the first two I could think of that would make you invisible. I haven't tried it with Shade. You know, it's gonna break your invisibility with him, but try this. So now that I took the suppression mod off of Ivara, it will break the invisibility when it's Incarnon. So let's spawn some enemies, and I found this out earlier. I highly suggest not to use Zata's Whisper with this bow, and probably like the Paris Prime too in Incarnon mode, because I don't know why it does it, but the charges ricochet off the enemies and come right back and hit you. It doesn't create that void bubble. It doesn't bounce through the enemies. It has a bad reaction with Zata's Whisper. So, yeah, just a little side note there. Don't use Zata's Whisper in Incarnon mode with these bows. It kind of sucks. Alright, enemy spawned. Let's go on Dizzy. Got Unseen Dread procced up there. Top right says 175%. Alright, we are charged up. If we didn't break our invisibility in its normal form, I'm going to shoot it in Incarnon mode. And it breaks our invisibility. It's giving away our location to the enemies, and just that little bit of invisibility being open, they're gonna see you, they're gonna spot you, they're gonna be alarmed. But now when we proc the Unseen Dread augment, it keeps us invisible. Like if I shoot it and not hit any enemies, we're breaking our cloak. Now if we start hitting multiple enemies, stay invisible. It's a good safeguard with her, but I wouldn't depend on staying invisible this way with Ivara. I would put the Hush mod. It is not a high drain mod, so I would put Hush on it just as a safe precaution. Because maybe you're with teammates, like you got a Sevagoth or something, and they're nuking enemies, and you have no more enemies to shoot to stay invisible with. So just put Hush on there when you are using Ivara. You never know. So yeah, we'll try it like that, and then we should have no problem whatsoever. I will show you what it does with Zata's Whisper as well. Let's charge it up. Alright, we're charged up. The augment made us invisible. I'm gonna go ahead and Incarnon it. I'm gonna proc Zata's Whisper. Alright, watch this. Oh, that's not what it did earlier. I did it earlier, and I'm not even joking. The thing kept bouncing back and hit me in the face. Yeah, it wasn't doing that. It was just going and coming right back and hitting me. Maybe it was some type of glitch in the simulacrum, but it was almost just kind of like deflecting the shots, and like one enemy would die, not multiple enemies. I didn't know what was going on. I should have saved it. That's weird that it's not doing it now. So yeah, maybe it is okay. Oh, see how that shot bounced? That's how all of them did me earlier. It just bounced right off. I think it has something to do with the void bubble. See, that one bounced and hit us. That one ricocheted. So I guess it's okay. It's kind of got a mind of its own with Zata's Whisper. It kind of just does what it wants to. It's going to like deflect the shot. It's going to sometimes take it and start bouncing it around the enemy inside that void bubble. So I don't know. It's kind of iffy. It works when it wants to, and then it doesn't work when it feels like it. So it's up to you. I would just use it. I would use Zata's Whisper more in the normal form of the Dread or the Paris. I think we still have Prime Shred on, so I'm going to take this Prime Shred off. I'm going to put Bane of Orokin back on the build. And yeah, we're going to put Faction Multiplier back on. Everything pretty much stays the same. We're not changing anything. So we're gonna double procs the slash, you know, coupled with Rifle Elementalist. This is a good pair right here. So we got heat, we got slash, and I do got a blast build for you later that I'll show you. So if you're gonna run Reinforced Bond, I would put the faction mod on. If you don't have Reinforced Bond, or you're not using a companion, use Prime Shred. If you don't have Prime Shred and you're not too worried about staying invisible too, you can use the Vigilante mods. You could put Vigilante Fervor right here, and then you could take and you could put our Vigilante Supplies right there, and then you could put Vigilante Fervor on here. So give you a little extra 10% chance to enhance your crits and stuff. So that would be helpful as well. If you didn't have Prime Shred for the extra fire rate, you could definitely use it this way, and that would be good. Charge time is not bad. But I'm going to show you what it's like without any fire rate mods. I'm going to take Worm. I'm going to take Worm off. I'm going to take the Vigilante mods off. Take the fire rate off. And let me switch back to Ash, because I think Ivara has a headshot multiplier when she's invisible and stuff too. Go to Cascade build. So now that we have no fire rate mods on this build, let's just see how good it charges up. That's the charge time. I don't know. I think it said 2 seconds. And then if we go in Incarnon mode, see how quick it charges up too. It feels pretty slow, especially like when you're running around and parkouring and moving throughout the map and fighting and stuff, and you go to jump, you see enemies and you're jumping, and you go to charge up, and you're like, wow, that took a little longer than I needed to. Sometimes this low fire rate will get you downed in this game, so a little bit of fire rate does help. help a lot. So that's what it's like with no fire rate on it. Back to the faction mod. And then we're gonna mess with the evolutions a little bit so you can kind of see what the different evolutions do, that the status build. So we're on the one in the middle. We're on zeroed in. Oh, we are on increased multiplier. Oh, so we're on the last one. Increase base crit chance multiplier by 1 time. That's what we've been using this entire time. So let's use the faction mod and use this. See how our damage looks, our status. All of these are good. I mean, all the categories in there are good. I'm just thinking, since we're getting that 175% while we're invisible, I can go ahead and kind of balance the dread out to where I could make it better. And in my eyes, increasing the status, because my status is a little low, since my crit chance is so high, and we have a high crit multiplier, that I think that would be best, is to increase the status, unless you have a ribbon. So we're invisible now. So these enemies are getting plucked pretty easy. And that's the punch through of the dread. So you'll be able to hit multiple enemies, no problem. Incarnon mode. I'm gonna put worm back on for my fire rate. There we go. Spawn them back up. Yeah, see, a lot quicker. Try to look at some here. $611K. Might go to the aura worm where we got more room. But there's some to test out first. So you can definitely see the difference when you're invisible and not invisible in the damage. That 175 crit does make a difference. Right now we do have longbow sharp shot active. Now we're invisible. See the difference? There's a big difference from being invisible and not invisible. Not invisible. 59K. Invisible. 110K. They pretty much bleed out or get burnt up. It's pretty strong. So that was zeroed in. Let's try the middle one. I've been liking the middle one. It's gonna bump our status up. So now our status in normal mode is at 79.2. See, nothing crazy. At charge shot 79.2, and then in Incarnon mode it's gonna be 97.2. So I like those numbers. Those are good. That's a lot better. See how that looks now. I'm gonna take the charge off. We're at 520. I'm gonna use Nourish so we can kind of see our viral status and stuff happen now. $1 million. Alright, I'm gonna go in Incarnon mode. That's why I like Incarnon better. See a big difference. It feels different. Definitely looks different. The numbers are different. The status. A lot more status is visible now on the enemies. So with the build and my Riven, because my Riven's just crit chance and damage, that works for me. Viral, so we're in the exclamation mark red crits. And we'll try the first one. I think Survivor's Edge, I think, was the first one. So we're on Elemental Balance, Survivor's Edge, increased base crit chance by 10 and increased base status chance by 10. So we'll hit that one. Our crit chance is at 314, 54 on status. Charge shots 314, 54 status. Our slash is ridiculous in its normal form. Incarnon mode, we're at 314, 72% status. So status went down, crit chance went up. Let me take it off Incarnon mode. Alright, we're charged up. Take a couple more shots. Invisible. Looks good. Stay invisible. So it's definitely between this one and the center one, but I feel like I would just like to have more status on this build. I mean, we're already in the red crits regardless of what we choose on our last evolution. So, I mean, that's his personal preference there, but 126, 251. So yeah, we're just staying invisible from the augment. Go back in its normal form real quick. I like how accurate and powerful in its normal mode is. It's just super strong like that. The nice thing about the Incarnon mode is it can hit like, it's like a wave of energy when it hits. So, yeah, that's that. I don't know. That's kind of a hard choice right there for me on the first choice or the second choice with the status. So 79 and 97, and we're at 261 and 261, 97. And 314 and 54. I know if you're using some of the hounds and you're using like mecha mods on your hound, this would be really good. You would kind of pick your choices if you're trying to increase the crit damage and status chance on your hound with the mecha builds and hunter synergy and everything. So yeah, back to the center one real quick. Just want to see the status proccing in both forms. Slash. I'm gonna do a body shot. Incarnon. So I don't know. I feel like they're pretty close. Pretty close to doing the same instance of damage here with the arrows. And then this is what testing is all about, going back and forth, right? So 314. You know, with that much crit, it's just like you probably don't even care about the status at that point because your damage is just going to be so well off. Oh, let's get rid of the charges real quick. So 2.2 million, 1 million on those in normal form. I don't know if I saw that with the middle one. I don't know if we broke that. Not really seeing the slashes like we do with the center option. There's some slash. So, alright, last time. Let's just check on elemental balance and see if our damage hit that 1 mil. 2.2. That's what I'm curious about right there. And then on to the blast build. I got a blast build. Show you how this thing works with blast. I think it's amazing with blast on it. So, charging it up. 1.4. 1.4. So the first one was just 1.0 like that. Yeah, I feel like it's the same amount of crit. I'm just getting more status. I'm just getting more status with the elemental balance one. So with my build personally, I think I'm gonna keep it on this one right here, the center one. I think 261 is pretty much the same as breaking 300 on the crit damage. on the crit chance. So that's good. We're gonna leave it at that. Now for the blast build, what I like to use for the blast build is I'll get rid of, this is fun, I highly suggest you try this. So get rid of galvanized chamber, put split flights on, so you get a ridiculous amount of multi-shot. And then I'll show you how that works with longbow sharp shot, and how it's like, dang, you're aiming for the head, but all the arrows are just going everywhere because you lose the accuracy with the multi-shot. So you gain 100% multi-shot, but you lose 180% accuracy for 2 seconds. So stacks up to 4. So you just keep hitting the enemies and your multi-shot stacks up as long as you keep hitting them. You gotta be quick. So, and that's where draw speed kind of counts. So you don't want this thing, if it's a 2-second charge up time, which I noticed when I didn't have any reinforced spawn or vigilante verver on here, or prime shred, I noticed that every time I cocked back and fired an arrow, I was back to square one on the multi-shot, because it was taking, the draw speed was taking too long to keep split flights multi-shot up. So not only that, but the quicker you make the draw speed, the more milliseconds you basically have to acquire that target, to get your bead on their head, basically. So that's why the fire rate's kind of important. So it does say 1 multi-shot, but that doesn't even matter. You'll see. So longbow sharp shot might be hard to constantly keep that procced with split flights, so you might want to just switch to primary merciless, and I'll show you why. So this is the blast build. Oh, I just threw a shuriken. So it's proccing longbow sharp shot most of the time, but if you're far away from the target, see how the multi-shot flies everywhere? Sometimes it's hard to constantly get those headshots. So it's not a very accurate, precise build because you just have so much multi-shot going out there. So that's why you might want to use primary merciless instead of longbow sharp shot. It might be easier for you to keep that one procced than this one. But yeah. Alright, let's try it in Incarnon form. This is the blast. Right, that's the blast build. So that's pretty fun. Able to take out multiple enemies after a couple of hits. Your multi-shot charges up. Ace, or you weren't packing a Riven and a whole bunch of other prime mods. I don't have the space to put the primed cryo rounds on there. So I kind of like having the rhyme rounds for the extra status chance to get more blast procs on there. So with that 60/60 mod, that brings my status up to 105 on its normal, 105, and then we're at 129 in Incarnon mode. So, and we can switch this to primary merciless. I wouldn't suggest, you can use primary frostbite, but you're only gonna proc the multi-shot and crit damage from that in normal form. Excuse me. Because when you switch it to Incarnon form, you're going to get, these aren't like the Okinas where it's going to separate all the elements. This is going to combine to make blast, so you're not going to be able to get that multi-shot from this unless your companion or something is using cold. So if your companion is using, like, you know, cold, then it'll keep the multi-shot, the arcane up for you. But if you're not using that, then I just suggest switching to primary merciless, and you'll be good. Because you saw how much multi-shot that was. You're gonna kill multiple enemies, no problem. Multi-shot is looking crazy. Charged it up. And when you look up here, we were at a 12. That's disappearing real quick. Look at that. That was crazy. But we were at... wow. What is it doing? It just like disappeared. Now it's not even on there. But it's right there. It's being weird. But yeah, you see Primary Merciless up there at the top right. It was maxed out on 12 stacks. So, yeah, the blast is a lot of fun. With this, you ain't got to be super accurate with it. You just gotta point. You just gotta aim at the enemy and let go. Draw back and let go. No need for accuracy on this one. Only time you need to be accurate is when you're charging it up in Incarnon mode. But there's something that's just like so satisfying about this one right here. It's super nice. I think it's just all the blast procs. It's like that's nice. So, yeah, if you're going to use split flights, it's not going to be like a precise build or like a very accurate build like when you use your galvanized mods and stuff, obviously, but it's going to give you like a lot of damage output. It's like spraying and praying pretty much. But there's no room to fit the faction mod, unfortunately, unless you want to take the Vitus Sense off, put the faction mod there. Since you're getting 175 from being invisible, then you could do that, but I like having double the amount of crit damage, but it's up to you. Matter of fact, if you want to see if that works, if it fits, we'll try it. Let's see if we can get back to longbow sharp shot here. Keep that procced. So we're gonna just get our crit damage from being invisible. Now we got the Bane mod on. If you're having problems because of the multi-shot, just wait 2 seconds and the multi-shot, the split flights will go away so you can get a more accurate shot on your enemy. Yeah, that's pretty nice. So you're kind of trading your crit damage and getting it from being invisible, but that worked. Voila. So yeah, that is the Dread in a nutshell. That's the new Augment. It's pretty freaking nice. I like it. Super cool. Super cool. I like it a lot more than the Hate Augment. And to be honest with you, I didn't even use the Hate Augment that much. It's like kind of a waste of a mod slot. Comparing it to other mods that you can put on the Hate, it was just kind of, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. So yeah, but this Dread one, I like it. I like bows in the first place. I started off with the bow in Warframe, MK1 Paris, and had to use that for defense, survival, all these different missions. And I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but I had that and the Leto, and then I moved up to the Fierce and then the Sestra, and I was like, finally got rid of the bow and used something else, and it was so much easier. But with these new mods out and new arcanes and Incarnon adapters, these bows they're able that they do high damage. They've always done high damage. Bows are very strong. But now with the Incarnon adapter and stuff, it's able to pretty much hit multiple enemies instead of single target profiling. So you're not hitting like one enemy at a time. You can hit multiple enemies, and there's ways to group them up and all that kind of stuff. I have a toxin, and that turns into gas, and then we got heat, and then a viral one. So like this one, I do have Vigilante Verver on it. But yeah, I do have a couple of other Rivens that we could test out as well. I just rolled this one. I got multi-shot, projectile speed, and status chance, and the negative Corpus faction. But let's see how this works here. We could actually take Vigilante Verver off, put that there, and then put our Rifle Elementalist here, like that. And then I like split fights. I like using the split flight mod on the Cinta. It's a lot of fun when you get that perfect shot with the Cinta, and you just get all those energy waves hitting enemies and catching them on fire. It's really nice. But I like to be more precise, like almost kind of like, you know, headshotting everything, almost using it as a sniper rifle. And sometimes it's just, for me, it's funner that way. So I stick to the galvanized mods 90% of the time. But let's spawn in some Corpus enemies and see how that works against them. Let's just do a battle group real quick. Got like some off sprays here and stuff. Alright, now we got gas. Man, that's just crazy. Let's go to the Corpus faction here. What do we have at? I need to do some more Corpus scanning. I don't know, maybe like 20 of these. Charge it up. All these gas clouds. Now that was a lot of gas clouds I saw. So that looked really nice. I'm wondering if with, what was it, Survivor's Edge, if it would look like that. see a lot of gas. A lot of gas. I don't know about you, but that seemed like they died a lot quicker. Looking for the amount of gas though. Yeah, that still looks like a good amount of status that's hitting them. That's a hard decision for me. Right there. I don't know. I feel like we're splitting hairs, like with that. Yep, but yeah, so that's the gas, toxin gas I should say, and then straight heat. We would need to take this off because that was pretty much the same thing we had going on with the gas, but if we just used the heat that was on the build, that would open us up another mod slot. We could stick like the faction mod on there. We got fervor for fire rate, vigilante supplies. Let's see. Status. Let's just put heat. So we got heat in the normal form, and then it's Incarnon mode. Or we should probably try the heavy Exodus goons. Yeah, we got double status procs on single hits too, and we're on center one, elemental balance. That's nice. Let's try the Exodus. Now I want to show you a few things with the Sybaris that I finished up last night. I was sitting here falling asleep, like trying to stay up, but I was like, oh, I need to finish this. I do that quite often. I'm like, yeah, I should get some rest. I can't stop warframing though. Got some Jade Xmas in. Charge it up. Oh yeah, no problem. That busts through Overguard like paper. That's nice. Look at that. That is really smooth. And that's just heat. That's just the heat. Let's try that, that blast build on the Xmas. Charged it. Wow. That seemed, I don't know. That was like easier than, I don't know. They just went down a lot quicker than the heavy guns. Is it me or I don't know. That's nice. I'd like to see how that works with going back to the galvanized mod and getting like for sure sharpshooter, longbow, sharpshot to constantly proc. I mean, with that damage, it really looks like it doesn't even matter. I don't know. After this, I'm gonna put another configuration on. We're gonna put a different ribbon on for a friend and tune that build up to that ribbon and see what it can do. Charge this. Alright, using the galvanized ones now. Yeah, it's nice either way. But, you know, with the split flights, you don't have to be as accurate. You don't have to make sure you're getting your headshots in, and you just point and aim and get that multi-shot per hit on enemy. So that's kind of why I like it with the blast, because you see the difference in multi-shot with the arrows. It's a very noticeable difference. It's like a wall of arrows coming at the enemies. So with the blast, that's kind of what I'm aiming for, is just like more arrows, more blast, more blast. People die quicker, enemies die quicker, go home and have lunch sooner, kind of thing. Alright, we charged up. A wall. I'm gonna charge up the multi-shot on split flights, and I'm gonna shoot it in the air just to see the amount of the arrows we got. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's really nice. So let's see, there's one ribbon here that I rolled that is looking really good. Get a configuration slot. We got 2, 4. This makes 6. So here. That's not it. That's it right there. So we got projectile speed, we got status chance, and multi-shot on this. I'm gonna rank it up. So we got 106, 115, 118. Those are all good numbers. The crit won't look the same because there's no crit chance on this, but we do have a good amount of multi-shot on here. We got projectile speed and status chance. So maybe with this build, we can go with the first choice, which would be Survivor's Edge. Excuse me. So we take that. Let's slap it on right there. And then let's go here and then start throwing things on. So move that right there. Put galvanized aptitude. Put rifle elementalist on here. Slap on longbow sharp shot. And we're gonna put crit delay. And then we're going to put Vital Sense. And then our Bane mod. And then whatever status you want to do. Want to do the heat, do nothing. This is the one we were working with right here, so we have like no status on it, and that worked really well. So you can make it blast. Let's see, what's our status? We're at 125. Our crit's at 150. I don't know. Let's just put for right now blast, but it's gonna be so much damage numbers. It's gonna be hard to focus on what is going on here. So just put thermite rounds on. And then push. Yeah, that looks good. Honestly, we could put, if we wanted more status, we could just put, what's that called? Rifle aptitude. That's 90% right there. We'll see what it looks like, because the slash is gonna do its thing here. Like you don't really have to have any other status on there, but we're just going to increase the heat damage on this more. But oh yeah, you could use hammer shot as well and get status that way and more crit damage. You know what? That sounds better. Let's do that. That's 90% status chance. That's 80% status chance plus 60% crit damage. More crit damage never hurt nobody. Alright, this is on elemental balance, I believe, so that's the end. It's still on the Xmas. So let's see what we got. I'm not going to use Nourish to start off with. I want to see the slash. Slash procs are looking good. Multi-shot is looking good. See, just that pure slash is got enough damage to do its thing. And since we're using the elemental balance, our status is looking pretty good. But we'll switch over to the Survivor's Edge and see what that looks like. So definitely, they're not exploding like with the other build I have, but I mean, these slash procs are so nasty that, I mean, that's all it takes. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 multi-shot right there, 5 arrows, 4 arrows right there. Oh, multi-shot looks good. Alright, switching to Incarnon. Heat and slash. We're breaking red. I see red. I see red. Now we're not invisible, so now it's not going to look as pretty. Gotta be invisible. Oh, you know what? We didn't put the Augment on there. That's what we're missing. We gotta put the Unseen Dread. Totally forgot to slap the Augment on this build. There it is. There we go. So status dropped. Crit damage dropped. That looked good. But we're gonna get 175% crit damage, so it doesn't really matter. I'm sorry about that. Completely forgot. We're already invisible because you got lots of multi-shot. Slash looks good. Do straight on shot now. Straight on. Straight on. Looks good. I like that. That's solid. And then Incarnon. Status looks good. Staying invisible. Augment. Alright. We will try. You know, I hit Nourish when we were testing it out, so we might want Nourish to go away so we can test it out without the viral. Because they are dying a lot quicker from the viral slash probably. But I think the slash procs are going to be so strong on your build here that viral would just be very nice to have for sure. That's the great thing about Nourish is you can either build your weapons for corrosive or other elemental damage and get your viral from that, or you're going to get it from your sentinel or something. But the way the statuses work now, it's like you don't always have to have a double element, like an elemental combo of viral or corrosive or magnetic radiation, like the heat and toxin, fire. Yeah, it's working so well on its own now. So it kind of just depends on what you're gonna do with it. What's the mission? What's the enemies? All right, we're just gonna not use. Let me get off Incarnon mode here. All right, slash procs, 4 slashes. 7 slashes. Straight on. Straight on. Let's do a chest shot. Let's see. With those 5 slashes, they look good. So we're not proccing longbow sharp shot. 6 slashes. We're not invisible anymore. Alright. See, I think that multi-shot counts to make you invisible quicker. Because there's not 3 enemies available right now for you to stay invisible, so I think that scales off multi-shot as well, that augment. Alright, now we can try it without nourish in Incarnon mode. Definitely not as red, you know. I mean, there's a lot of multi-shot on this for sure, a lot more. And just with galvanized chamber, still a lot of multi-shot. But the damage is there. You know, it's just not that pretty red color everybody likes. But this is definitely slapping the Xmas to pieces. Yeah, that looks good. That's on elemental balance. So since you don't have crit chance on your ribbon, you might want to try this one to increase your crit chance. Let's see where that takes you. So your multi-shot is 3 off the cuff, and then, which is really nice. And then you're gonna get the 150, right? 30 stacks up 5 times. 150, or is that 115? 115. 150. And then, so you'll get more multi-shot there. Your punch through is at 1.6 because Rifle Elementalist has punch through on it. So you're getting that 0.6 punch through. That's where it's coming from. I was wondering where it was on the Sybaris. I'm like looking at it, and I'm trying to figure out where this 0.6 punch through is coming from, because Prime Shred's only 2.2. And I'm like, this 0.6 is got to be coming from somewhere, because it says that on this build, and then it says I got 3.8 on this build, and then the configuration with no mod says I have 0 punch through. I was like, there's like a visual bug or something going on. I have no idea. So yeah, so you're getting a 3 multi-shot off the cuff plus 150, so that's going to give you 4.5. So you got 4 arrows and a 50% chance of having a 5th arrow. So that's enough multi-shot. I mean, that's a good chunk of change right there. And we switched it to Survivor's Edge. So we're going to see how pretty this is now. See if it made a difference with your build. And I procced Nourish again. It's a habit. It's a habit. But I want our testing, when we're testing these evolutions, I don't want to use that right away, especially while we're working on your ribbon. Alright. Slash proc. Looking good. Alright, red. I'd have to say things do look a lot more red now. It looks like there's more red than orange. And its status, I mean, the slash status still looks good too. Incarnon form. Got your heat, your slash. That looks more red to me. Yeah, it's kind of like split down the middle when you're using elemental balance. You got like half orange, half red, and it looks like the crit chance one, the Survivor's Edge, brings it up enough to where your crit chance starts outweighing the status. You have more, you gained more crit chance, so you're gonna have more red crit. And I hit Nourish. Let's try it in Incarnon form. So on your elemental balance, you're at 150 at 125.8, and then you're at 150 at 154. And then if we do this, you're at 180, 180, 114, 85, 85. 85, 180, 14, 150, 125, 150, 125, 150, 154. Yep. I think either way you're fine, whichever one. I would choose this one, to be honest with you. This balance right here of it being 150, 154, I like that. I think it's better that way. Because, I mean, you're gonna get your kills with your slash procs regardless. Like, it'll kill everything. So, it being balance like that, you got slash, you got your heat. I think you're all set. This will be the last time right here. Yeah, I would stick with the center one. Right, yeah. Elemental balance. You're good to go. So that's it for the new Dread Augment. We've got that squared away. Your ribbon's good to go. Snapshot this for your build. This is how you're gonna want it. And as for the blast build, this is the blast build. It's amazing. And so now we're gonna move on to the Sybaris. I just got a few things before we close up shop to share with you on that. And I will be making a blast Baron build that I will share with y'all. Taking the Tennocreate Saren, I'm gonna put some shards, I'm gonna build her up, put some Forma in her, and see what we get out of that. But yesterday I was working on the Sybaris, finally put the Forma in it. So this is what it's looking like. I have two different ones here. So this one has Toxin on the build. So this allows me to have just straight Toxin. It allows me to have Corrosive. I can have Gas just by switching this 90 mod out. And then this one allows me to have Heat and Blast on the build. So just I keep that on Heat. And yeah, I don't know. I'm still thinking about this. Really, I don't know. Because there's that 0.6 punch through. I was wondering. This one says 3.5. This one says 2.8 with Prime Shred. I'm like, where? And then nothing says 0. I was so lost. I completely forgot Rifle Elementalist had punch through on it. I was tripping last night. I was like, I am too tired to be struggling this hard about, like, thought it was like a visual glitch. But yeah, that got me. So this is really nice with Saren. Either or. It depends on what faction you're fighting. The punch through is very, very helpful, especially with the blast procs on the Sybaris. And I was using Primary Blight because I have no negative on here like increased recoil and stuff like that, so I'm not going to use Deadhead and all that kind of stuff. And you know, she's got Toxic Lash, so I can build that multi-shot up. Another one you could use is Primary Merciless to get the raw damage, so that's helpful as well. This is just straight Toxin. I was at 17 on that. Let's do 20. And charge her up. So this is what it looks like with not using Saren's abilities and stuff. No stacks up yet on the galvanized mods. We got Primary Blight on, so we're not even like proccing that. Oh yeah, we're at 40. There's enough Toxin on here to get that, so we got the multi-shot from Primary Blight. Yeah, we're good. So yeah. So now if we use Saren's abilities, it's just a lot better. And I can't like fit a Bane mod on this thing. Prime Shred pretty much takes up that spot, so yeah, I have nowhere to slap that on because all this kind of stuff is is pretty necessary for the build. You could try take prime shred off, but I just highly suggest having punch through. If you don't have punch through, like, try to get it on your ribbon. If you don't, put prime shred on. It's like the Sestra. The secondaries for the Sestra, there's only one mod. There's one mod for all the pistols that has punch through. I wish they would come out with something else that had punch through to put on secondaries. But that's like one of the best things to get with these Incarnon pistols is punch through on a ribbon. So like dual toxicist, the Sestra, the Sybaris, you can get some punch through on a ribbon, you're gonna be all set, because it's a high drain mod on the Sestra that I'm using to get punch through. It's called, yeah, that's it, Seeker 2.1 punch through, and it is 16, 14, 15 drain. So that's a lot, you know. That's up there with the prime mods. So it's pretty high drain ribbon. But now when we incorporate Saren's abilities, we're gonna go ahead and charge up the Incarnon rifle here. We're on Toxin. And then do a little bit of that. We haven't spored anybody. That's without sporing. Really nice with that Toxic Lash and Venom Dose on. It gets even better. I'm gonna try it again because they did die kind of quick. So, spore one enemy. Takes out a whole squad of them. Very nice. I do not have an Incarnon yet for the Dex Sybaris. I will be getting one of those. Because the Dex Sybaris does have more crit, but it only has 10% status. And then the Sybaris Prime, it has less crit, but it has more status, but it has higher overall damage. So, but the Dex Sybaris also has a higher ribbon disposition, not by much. I think it's like 0.5 more than the Sybaris Prime. Not a whole lot of difference, but it's a enough difference for people to probably want to use the Dex Sybaris over the, if you haven't tossed it out yet. But yeah, that was the Toxin build. And then we could switch this. Let's do the Heat. So we got Bane of Orokin on here. We have our punch through coming from the Sybaris ribbon right here. And then we got that 0.6 that I didn't see last night right there. And this is Heat and Blast. Charge it up. Charged up. Not sporing yet. Yeah. That damn heat, man, is ridiculous. And if we spore an enemy, like, it just gets better. I do have a green shard for corrosive max stack on Saren on this build. So you will, like, you don't kill them quick enough, they will have no armor eventually by the end of the day. So you kind of got the whole acid shells going on here because of the explosive damage from blast. and it's really nice with her. It works really good. And that's the heat and blast build. So that's why the puncher is important, so it can hit multiple enemies and you can blast them as well. But if you're not going to use primary blight, like for the multi-shot, I would go with the raw damage of primary merciless. And you could run the toxin this way. Charge it up. And primary blight is from Deviri, so it's another one you check for Acrithis. You can do the Thrax portals in Deviri experience. You can get it through the circuit. You can get it from Acrithis on the daily reset at 7 p.m. Central Time, my time. So if you don't have that, just slap on primary merciless. I'll show you. It does the same thing. There you go. Up top says we got 12 stacks. Primary merciless is already maxed out. So let's say, yeah, we're in the fight, we're fighting, we're good, everything's, you know, we got our Galvi mods up, merciless is up, we're shooting. So yeah, and then I tested it earlier. I haven't tested it on Ink Corpus yet, but I did put gas on it, and it worked really well with gas. I like that. That was fun. Toxin. Hellfire. Was it gas? Or am I tripping? So we had heat and we had toxin. I might be getting it mixed up with the dread. Because it's not... Oh yeah, no, I did. Yeah, because there's toxin on the ribbon. Yeah, I'm tripping. Okay, so put Hellfire on. And we can use it this way. I still have the primary merciless arcane on, so we'll get raw damage off of that. Switch here. We got Xmas somewhere, right? Power carrier, Corpus Tech, Xmas. That'll work. Let's charge it up. And like the toxin build works really good, but I just like making all the gas clouds. Not sporing yet, just shooting. So the blast is knocking their overguard off, and they're just taking that gas damage. Now we'll spore them. And that's gas. Works really good. Just depends on who you're fighting, you know. So corrosive, just switch to electricity. Stormbringer. Now we got corrosive. And we'll switch to Grenier. Grenier. Charge it up. Alright, charged up. Not gonna spore him yet, just gonna Alright, that was without sporing. That's just using her abilities with no sporing. Now we'll spore them. So that's corrosive. Corrosive and blast on the Grenier. And then, so you could keep the primary merciless on there if you don't have primary blight. So it's either or. This is just going to give you more multi-shot, more crit damage. And you see like a lot more proccing, a lot more shots on target when you shoot. He was already stripped. See a lot more proccing. Status everywhere. And that's how that works. So I always try to keep primary blight on everything Saren uses. So any primary weapon you're going to use with her, use primary blight. Goes for the Spore Threx as well, the sniper rifle. Use that. And there's an arcane to also increase reload speed. I would highly suggest using that for the Spore Threx. Let me think. For the heat one, did we do Eximus on the heat? I can't remember. I don't think we did. Corrupted bombards, that sounds better. Those are heavier. And charge up. That panicking mode they have on here. Oh, these are not Eximus. Crap. Corrupted bombard Eximus. There we go. I wish the tick damage would stop when you spawn them in, but we'd have to wait a little bit for that to go away. So that's the heat. The heat is kind of the safe bet. Unless, I mean, it'll work against the Kuva Grenier because of the blast and stuff, but it's the Kuva Grenier that are like, you don't want to use the heat on, is what I guess the new status rework says. So this thing is super fly with her. I like it a lot. It's just an alternative to use. You can use the Strun, you can use, and I'm just gonna make it better with the blast shards. Like, I'm so excited to see how that works. That's gonna be my next thing I do. I just gotta get enough shards to do it. I put shards in all my frames, and I don't really have enough to go around to make another Saren how I want to make her. Archon shards. So like all the frames are pretty much set up with shards how I like it. Chroma doesn't have any. That Caliban's free. That's a free. That's another Ivara, but yeah, Level 30. Rhino Prime. There's a few. It's not with shards. I just need to get more shards so I can combine them and make some extra blast shards. Because I made some topaz Tau Forge for Mesa, and then I took the regular topaz shards off of her, put them on Corvex for the radiation, and yeah. So that is that's pretty much it, I believe, for the Dread and the Sybaris build. Trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to share with you. The evolutions I have on the Sybaris is Blazing Barrel for number 2, Evolution 2. Evolution 3 is minus 60% weapon recoil. And then Evolution 4 is the base crit chance by 5, base status chance by 10. On full burst hit, 20% reset on, or 20% damage on reset. And then increased base status chance by plus 5, effects double in Incarnon form. I don't get that. Because if it's increased status chance by 5% in its normal form, then effects double. That would be 10%, right? In Incarnon form. And this is 10%, but you get extra 5% crit. I might be understanding that wrong, but it seems like you get the same amount of status chance on that one as you do this one, but you just get extra crit on this one. So I went with that. And then that arcane I was talking about for the sniper rifle, it's called Arcane Momentum. I still have it on her because I was using it with the Sporthrex. And I mean, that is just such a dang good sniper rifle. I don't know. I don't see a lot of people ever use it, but it's really the only sniper rifle that has AoE. And it's nice. Works really good with her. And if you're interested, this is the build that I have with Theron for the Sporthrex. Chamber, Thermite, Galvanized Aptitude, Cryo. So yeah, you kind of see the pattern here. It's Blast. Rifle Elementalist. Volatile variant, Augment. You definitely want to have this Augment on the Sporthrex. This comes from Nightwave. And then a faction mod. A little bit more projectile speed, doesn't hurt. And then Primary Blight. Like I said, always put Primary Blight on the primaries for Saren. It's just easy to keep up because of her Toxic Lash. And then this Riven's just punch through and multi-shot and slash. So these Rivens are really cheap. I didn't buy it. I unveiled this one, and I unveiled 2 Sporthrex Rivens and gave one to a friend. Yeah. So I'll show you real quick on that. We got Xmas right here. And you reload so fast with that arcane. It's awesome. It's a must with this sniper rifle. So yeah, it's got crazy punch through, a good amount of multi-shot on it. Reloading is so much faster with this thing, and she'll reload it a lot faster than that as well. You could also use the extra fire rate to get more rounds down range faster. But yeah, the reloading animation is faster, and I think like if you only shoot a couple of rounds and reload, it goes by slower. So always empty the whole magazine and reload when you're out of bullets, and it reloads super quick, because I'm telling you, without that arcane, it's terrible. So this is without arcane momentum. On reload, super long. And you could even, on the build, you could put something for more magazine capacity. That's very helpful. So like if you didn't have a ribbon for the Spore Threx, that's what I would put on. I would put prime magazine warp on this bad boy and increase the magazine capacity if you don't have a ribbon for it, because you're gonna have an extra slot. So if you got an extra slot, definitely put prime magazine warp and then put arcane momentum on, and you'll be good to go. Put arcane momentum. And this rifle does good in long distance. It's got a little bit of a drop off. That's why terminal velocity is a major help for it. And then we're just gonna pop him in the head. Look at that, all that AoE, that splash right there. And I'm gonna score him. Yeah, they're just ticking away now. Good sniper rifle with her. If you ever gotta use sniper rifle, use a Spore Threx with her. It's good with other people too, but it just works really good with her if you need something for long distance. Strun, the Spore Threx, the Occucore pistol works really good. Sentient Surge Augment, make sure you get that from Nightwave. They have Sentient Surge back. It's in Necrolisk for the oh man, what's it called? It's called Nabaris, for Nabaris. So go see Daughter, pick up Sentient Surge for the Occucore there, and slap that on that pistol and use this with her. And also put, you know, it's blast. So everything I'm referring to, every weapon, is going to be blast with her. The Occucore, the Strun, obviously the Sobek, the Spore Threx, the Sybaris has blast, so then you just put toxin on it, or you can put gas you want, but it's already got blast on it, so that's what kind of makes it easy peasy with the Sybaris and Saren. But that is it, my friends, and appreciate you chilling and checking out this video. I hope it was helpful. I enjoyed this whole process with you. I love figuring out builds and what works, and I really enjoy excuse me, when they come out with new augments and stuff. Thanks Sanji, appreciate that. And then yeah, you know, put the augment on and figure out how it's going to synergize between the weapon system and the Warframe and the enemy and faction, and just watch things, you know, this die. This game is really about damage and doing high damage, and once you start to figure out how to do high damage, it's really fun, and it's almost kind of addicting to just try to get those numbers as bright and as high as possible. So yeah, I appreciate you chilling with me. Please like and subscribe for more Warframe content. Definitely hit that like button. I really appreciate it. It puts me out there when people are looking for Warframe stuff, and I would love to have a bigger crowd watching. It's definitely a huge goal for me. Just have people writing in the chat and asking questions and all just brainstorming together. I just want to have a community of Tenno to where we're, you might know some secrets that I don't know that you can share with me that would sharpen me and make me better. And that's kind of like the whole thing about Warframe, is networking with your clan members and other Tenno and just coming up with these super dope builds that annihilate everything. And that's what I want to put out there, is like awesome builds that just destroy stuff in this game. So I appreciate it, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Hopefully there'll be another one coming out this week. If not, I'll be on Sunday for Shard Sunday. Elite Deep Archimedia, Netrocells, Archon Hunt, Bird 3, Weekly Reset. Check it out. We'll be on at 8 p.m. Central. And we'll see you on the next stream. Sholah, Surah.